Hey everybody, welcome to News from Heaven. This is the show where we're trying to figure out our life and life in general and the nature of the mind, and we're going to do it, believe it or not, by taking an annotated journey through the writings of Swedenborg, and I want you to come on it with me because today we're going to take a look at how to strengthen your spiritual body. We're going to get into a little esoteric workout program, and we're going to go at it with these three key points. First of all, what weakens your spirit? Because if you're trying to get strong, you don't want to get weak. And this has to do then with inner life and outer life and how the two come together to make something that's complete. If you're enjoying this program at all, like and subscribe, please. That helps us strengthen our YouTube algorithm, which is just second in the hierarchy of importance behind the spiritual body. And why would you want to strengthen your spiritual body? Well, it's because you're going to be living in that thing forever, so says Swedenborg, and even learning about that, even learning about what's actually going on is going to help us all in our daily, what's a good metaphor for our daily strengthening, conditioning routine against negativity, against the mental weather, the worry and anxiety, and all the stuff in your mind that's trying to get you to believe things about life that make you miserable and afraid or make you behave in an antisocial way. What we're going to say is the truth of what's going on, what's really happening, the processes that are actually taking place, what matters and what doesn't. This is good news. This is news from heaven, and this has much more power than these piddly little worries and anxieties. And by learning about this, we're going to be able to pass it on. Anything you learn, anything you've been struggling with, anything you've been helped by, leave it in the comments as we build our community there to together figure out how to navigate and how to, use our spiritual power for good. All right. If you want to follow along, this is Heaven and Hell. Download it in the link in the description. We're going to get started at 475. And we begin with our spiritual weakness. We may gather from this what faith is apart from love. Hey, I'm fine. I'm go to church. I'm religious. I don't got to worry about how I just treated you in traffic. No, everybody knows that that's not it. And I wouldn't even box it in to say, okay, he's talking about religious something. I'm not particularly religious, so I will just shut my brain off until the next sentence, because you can be the same way. I can be the same way. I shouldn't be here preaching at you. I can be the same way if I feel like I'm on the right side of a particular political cause I believe in, or I happen to have some kind of information that I know is true, so it doesn't matter if I have any of this love stuff. That really, faith is all I need. Ideas are all I need. I don't need to care about, what my motivations are and how I'm affecting the people, what I think about the people I'm going at. Swedenborg's saying, faith apart from love is no faith at all. Only information with no spiritual life in it. There's nothing there. Doesn't matter how good your intel is. If you're not living from love, there's no life in it. The same holds true for deeds. Now, this is a wrinkle for this particular episode. The same holds true for deeds apart from love. And this is not something that I have to convince you of too hard, because if somebody goes and they help an orphanage, but the entire time it's obvious they're just doing it to boost their public profile and they're running all these Ponzi schemes and things in the background, we know that doesn't count, that you help the orphanage. And if I do something nice to you just because I'm trying to manipulate you, it doesn't make the nice thing good. So he's here saying deeds apart from love. They are not deeds or works of life at all. And we're getting at this life because this is key to the spiritual body and the health of it. Only deeds or works of death containing, and that's pretty serious dichotomy there, containing some semblance of life derived from a love of evil and faith in what is false. This semblance of life is what we call spiritual death. So, what's the opposite of strength? It's being weak, and what's the most weak you can be is dead. So, spiritual death, the opposite of strengthening our spiritual body, is to separate the things that are the things we believe and the things we do from love. And it's not just any love, because here he says you've got a love of evil. That doesn't cut it. Love as we would understand the term, meaning I'm thinking about that there are other people in the world, they're conscious, they matter. How I treat them is how I would treat myself, or how I should treat them is how I would want to treat myself. You know what love is. Unless we connect that to the things we do and the things that we think, we are killing our spirits. The spirit thrives on actual love. So let's get into that's what you don't do if you want a strong spirit. What do you do if you do want one? All right, let's go up here. We should realize that as well, that we present our whole person in our works and deeds, and that our volition and thought, or the love and faith that are our inner constituents, are not complete until they are embodied in the deeds and works that are our outer constraints. Yikes, there's a lot going on there, and I'm going to have to separate this sentence out here. Let's separate it here, because I feel like this whole beginning section is a novel idea. To me, anyway. We should realize as well that we present our whole person in our works and deeds. Okay, oops, I totally separated that at the wrong spot. What I meant to separate it at was right here. This is plenty. We talked about in the previous episode, angels examining us after we die, that every single spiritual cell of your spiritual body has in it your love and will. Here, we're saying it's not just your form, but your works indeed. The stuff that you do has the essence of you in it. The way you do things, the reason you're doing things, and somehow these deeds here are encapsulating the entire you. Not any single deed is going to define you, but that is where there is this convergence of the stuff that makes you you. So that's one bomb. The next one is that our volition and thought, or the love and faith that are our inner constituents, are not complete until they are embodied in the deeds and works that are our outer constituents. So we have our love and our volition. This would be your thoughts and your feelings. And even if you understand everything, and even if you feel this burning love for other people or for whatever, until they are able to come down and do something, create something, to accomplish something, they're not complete. Because you could think love can just sit in a bubble by itself forever. Volition can just sit in a bubble by itself forever. I feel like I'm like over on these drawings here. Let's say intellect and volition. Intellect can just sit in a bubble forever. Volition can just sit in a bubble forever. But they're not complete. They're longing for this third part in the chain, which is the work. So you think of the infinite potential of loving something. You have all these different feelings about it. You have all these different ways you want to approach it. But it's in the instances, the finite number of instances when we do things, that it actually has somewhere to ground itself. These latter are, in fact, the outermost forms, these latter being the deeds here, in which the former find definition. I'm sorry, is this not exciting to you? To me, this is fascinating. So what you really believe about life and what you care about actually finds its definition or its skin in the things we do from those. And without such definitions, they are like undifferentiated things that do not yet have any real presence, burn, things that are therefore not yet in us. They not, even if you've rolled it over in your mind and felt it, it's not really in you till you consummate it by doing something. To think and intend without acting, when we can. Now, I do want to say, you may be feeling at this point like, I really care about this person, but they won't listen. I've got somebody that's got some kind of addiction or something, and I really want to help them, but they shut me out. It's not that, I don't want you feeling bad about that. That's not the point. And this is what he's saying here, when we can, right? Not acting when we can. It's not that if you don't have the opportunity that you don't really care. But when it's there, if you say, I love everyone, I would totally give up my place in line for someone who is hungrier than me, but when it actually comes up and you don't, then we are in this situation. It's like a flame sealed in a jar and stifled. Or it is like a seed sown in the sand. So we've got our potential there, but then we got the sand, which has no nutrients. It does not grow, but dies along with its power to reproduce. So here we have our inner and outer life interacting. So you've got the inner life, which is like the seed here, right? It's all the potential that we need. But it doesn't have the key ingredient, the water, the nutrients, whatever it is that's keeping it from sprouting. And what is that? Thinking and intending and doing, though, is like a flame that sheds its light and warmth all around, or like a seed sown in the soil that grows into a tree or a flower and becomes something. So the doing, the bringing of the outer life and the inner life together, that's what makes it grow. Because you might think it's just, I've got it straight in how, in the sort of the religious-y, meditative side of it, that's all I need. But Swedenborg has this fascinating theme running throughout his works that the big stuff and the small stuff need each other. That the complex, flashy, sort of spiritual stuff and the little humble, well, I'm going to do the dishes right now, those talk to each other. And that this is a picture of something like an infinite, omnipotent, omnipresent, omniscient God and little us, who can barely draw intellect and volition. They can connect. That's the theme of life, is the big and the small, connecting and loving each other. And there's the same kind of love in what you're thinking and what you're feeling, and then with what you're doing. So that connection is our inner and outer life getting together. Now, this is all well and good, but the real potent thought is still yet to come. In a way, this is all just set up for what I feel like is the greatest revelation in this bit of Swedenborg, and it is one that I find a very useful tool, and we're getting very close to that. Thinking, intending, and doing. Yeah, anyone can see that intending and not acting when we can is not really intending, and loving and not doing good when we can is not really loving. And this may not be as much of a conversation these days, but back in the day with Swedenborg, you had a lot of people saying in his church, I was baptized, I've got that stuff, I don't need to do anything else. It could be that people still do stuff like that. It is only thinking that we intend and love. So it is a matter of isolated thought that disintegrates and vanishes. Now, this is where things are going to get intense. And I'm going to warn you with some red here. Stuff is going to get real here. Love and intent are the very soul of the deed or work. Okay? So we've got, and that's why I had that thing of the Li up there. So you've got love, you've got your intent. And they come down into the deed, but they flow into it. Like they are the soul. Just like there's a picture of everything and everything, just like we have a body with a soul inside it. So love and intent are the soul of the deed, because you can have somebody doing the exact same thing, two people doing the exact same thing, but if you actually knew all the reasons for why they did it and what they thought they were doing as they did it, it can be completely different. This is the difference between somebody making a mistake and doing something really bad, or vice versa, is what you think, what you mean when you do it. It forms its own body in the honest and fair things that we do. So love and intent forms its own body. So is he kind of being sort of metaphysical here? This is a sort of a metaphor. It's almost like there's a body being formed in the honest and fair things that we do. Let's just read on. This is the sole source of our spiritual body, the body of our spirit. We've just gotten very literal. We have a spirit, and Swedenborg says the spirit is more tangible and more real than the body. It is as structured as the body, just like you can zoom up on the body and there are cells and bones and muscles, and it's like this amazing machine. The spirit is that complex and more so. And the spirit has to be built just like a body has to be formed under very careful conditions with all the right nutrients. So it is with our spirit. And what's our spirit being formed out of? The honest and fair things that we do. And just to clarify, are you really saying this, Swedenborg? That is, our spiritual body is formed entirely from. So if you're trying to build up and work out, you got to get a certain amount of protein or whatever. What do you got to do if you're building a spiritual body? It's formed entirely from what we have done out of love. So what we do, and luckily we've got a margin thing here. So if there's us, and these are great references, but we're not looking at them right now. If there's us, we have a physical body, we have a spirit as well. And I often draw it as a fully formed person, and we certainly have a spirit that interacts with every part of our body to an extent. So it's almost in there. But to some extent, the Spirit's still like a baby. It's still a developing thing. And what's it developing from? It's what we, on this side, what we do leads directly to the formation of the Spirit. Somehow, our actions, our daily actions, are like feeding the soul. Just like here, you are what you eat, the nutrients that you pull in allow you to develop in a certain way. There, what we've done out of love or intent is what makes our spirit. And let me tell you how this is a potent spiritual tool for me. Because if I'm floating around and I have these dark clouds and they are telling me, they are basically giving me a rundown of what's important. They will say, reputation is important. And they will terrify me if this person, I think, thinks this thing about you, or you appeared stupid in some way to them. They will say, that's important. You've got to worry about that. You've got to worry about curating your reputation and things. They will say, what your accomplishments are important. And if you've missed this opportunity, or you have not capitalized on something, or you are not doing much with your life in terms of making a name for yourself, or whatever, your specifics, they will worry me about that. So that's what you got to worry about. Another one is, you're not getting, everyone else is out there having fun, you're not having fun. You can fill in the blanks. They are saying, this is what's important, all that. But none of that stuff is nearly as important as forming the Spirit that you're going to live and walk around in forever in the Spirit. To know that it's out there, and that what we're doing in these moments when they're trying to criticize us and make us believe there's nothing really important going on is that little head disappeared twice. We are making the spiritual body. Everything Maslow's hierarchy of needs will, sort of a spin-off of that is, if your foot hurts, suddenly you got to pay attention to that. The body is the foundation of everything we do, so the Spirit is the foundation of everything that we will do forever. So I just want to tell those little clouds there that what we're doing now, you make it, and being formed specifically out of what you love and do out of intention, that's the most important thing. And you can do that anywhere. You don't have to be somebody super important to do something out of love and intent. To take what you believe about life and what you really feel is important, and what are your good feelings. Any act of that, whether it's small, whether anybody notices, that's what makes you who you are. So that is something that we can be doing every day. And this is the way that God's providence works, is that it is universally accessible to everyone. The means to have a great spirit. It doesn't mean you have to lead armies and, figure out amazing things. It's do the things that you believe and love, find ways to bring that into the world. And that's something everybody can do anytime. And that's what's so cool about divine stuff, is that it's universally accessible, it's simple, it's humble, and it is no pressure. It's not like, I didn't do it today, so it's over. You have every day, every moment, you have a little opportunity to do that. When you're doing the dishes, as I said, if I'm thinking about, I really believe that this is a good thing to do because the rest of the people in my family will benefit from this being clean. I like the idea of being, whatever it is, that doesn't have to be yours, but that just doing that little thing is putting those nutrients into the Spirit, giving it the platform to then we have this amazing eternal life from it. And that's the news from heaven. How to go? Do you feel anything, even from something like how to strengthen your spiritual body? Do you feel like you got the potential to strengthen your mental capacity to push back the dark clouds and have a better, more productive life? Because everything that Swedenborg describes as the truth leads, for me, to a world in which I am freed from concern. That's part of what shines about it for me, is that when I take this, that he's saying, I can't know 100% for sure if it's true, but when I take it and I put it into my daily life and I apply it, then suddenly I'm happier, I'm doing things in a more productive way, and I'm less at the mercy of my head weather. What better breadcrumbs could there be to saying, okay, maybe he's onto something here. But if it only works for me, then it ain't nothing. So what does it work for you guys? Did you pull anything out of this episode that you feel like could be useful, or even something I didn't think of? Leave it in the comments. That would be so good, because then I can steal your ideas. And like and subscribe if you haven't already. That's what makes the world go round. Hopefully this, gives you a bit of a boost going out there. And I hope that as we move day to day here, we can just be thinking, oh, I'm just making my spirit a little stronger. And as we actually do strengthen it, that should start to show up. We should start to feel happier, more peaceful, more with it. And isn't that what it's all about? Thanks for hanging out so much, guys. See you soon.